Greetings, and blessings abundantly. Welcome to the Abundance Universe podcast. I'm your host, Gideon Vese, here today with an amazing, outstanding, excellent, abundant guest, one of my favorite individuals, Mr. Gideon Vese. Gideon, welcome to
Hey,
Abundance Universe. How are you today, brother?
hey, I'm good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling abundant. I'm feeling like today is gonna be a manifestation of so much. So I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for pulling up. And just so y'all know, I'm in Los Angeles, California, and Gideon is tuned in live from Lagos, Nigeria.
Lagos, Nigeria. Yeah.
Yeah, Lagos,
Yeah.
one of my favorite places. And we'll talk about
Yeah.
how Gideon and I met through our journey and how our journeys crossed paths. I'm so grateful that they did. But first,
Yeah.
let's just introduce Gideon. Let's introduce yourself to the people. And, I want to just say, like, Gideon, first of all, is just an amazing human. He's a very inspiring individual. He's a man of God. He's the founder of the Purpose Room. He is an author, and he is also an educator and has courses and just wrote a book, The Beginner's Guide to Personal Branding, which we'll talk about. But Gideon, give us like
Yeah.
an introduction into, who you are, what you do, and why, and just, how you got started into this world of greatness and inspiration that is impacting so many people. How did all come to be? Where'd you come from, and how did you become this amazing person?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Once again, I'd like to say thank you. I really appreciate you giving me this platform. I do not take it for granted. Straight up, my name is Gideon Vese, as we've already established. I am a brand manager, a brand expert, right? And I also founded a ministry called Purpose Room that helps people grow in intimacy and helps people find purpose. So we believe that we can help you find your purpose through intimacy with God. That's what we believe there. And then I also have a branding agency that helps people build their brand into what they want it to be. So we go deep into your mind, your heart, your spirit, everything you have that you think you want to be, and then we help you structure it out and bring it out so it can be a blessing to the world. So that's what we do. So now, my journey, at some point, all these things I listed did not exist. Everything I listed did not exist. I was just a young boy who was writing raps. I wanted to be a rapper with all my heart, writing raps back then. Used to look at the likes of Lil Wayne and the likes, Jay-Z and the rest, just looking at them and seeing how they were living their life. And I wanted to be like them. So I had all that in front of me, and that was really what I wanted to be. And then I got into college, and when I was about finishing college, I remember that I was really not even interested in education so much. Back then, I was not interested in education. I wasn't getting the best grades. I was getting F's in physics because I studied computer science back then. So even my father at that point was not even talking to me because he felt like I wouldn't say failure because that's too big of a word, but I know he was not happy that I was not doing well in school back then. And then I finished school. I found a way to finish school because back here, if you do not get a particular grade, you would resit. But I finished school. I did my best to finish school. I made up my mind that I will, and I finished school, and I started working in an IT firm. We were the major distributors of Dell Computer. Do you know Dell?
Yeah,
Dell
absolutely.
Systems.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're the major distributors of Dell back then. And I was working there. It was a 9 to 5. And then after a while, I realized that it was repetition. And this repetition was not one that I liked because many times people say, oh, 9 to 5 is about repetition and you can't spend all your life repeating things. But the truth is, everybody repeats things. An educator repeats things. A pastor repeats things. Everybody repeats things, but you just have to repeat what you like. When you repeat what you like, then it makes sense. It's when you repeat what you do not like that it then begins to stress you out and take a lot out of your energy. So back to what I was saying. My story is long. Do you have time?
We have the most time. That's what we're here for. We're
Great.
here for the people to meet and understand who you are, what you do,
Yes.
why, and I want to share with them. I want you to share with them a lot of why I'm so impressed with you. So please
Yeah.
continue.
Thank you. Thank you. So yes, I then joined that company and I was working there, and I just saw that okay, it was about the money back then, and then even in the place they weren't speaking with love. It was really like okay, targets, targets, targets. Nobody cared about anything. They just wanted you to bring your targets in, and if you don't bring your targets in, you're gone. And that was what it was about. And I kept on looking deep into my heart that time, and I was like, okay, is this really what I want to spend my life doing? So I had a plan. My plan was to work there for 2 years, gather enough money to build my studio, and then resign and then go into writing raps and releasing records that would get me to the main street, get people to know me and all that. So that was my plan. But along the way, I don't want to say much about that story, but along the way, I found God. I found God. And then I joined the church, and when I joined the church, I saw that my relationship with God started growing more and more. And then I began to realize that I had some deep hunger, for purpose, And then I started working and serving with my pastor back then. And I would say the rest is history, because what that did for me was it opened my heart and my eyes to see that there was a lot more about me, right? And that was just me doing tasks, but there was purpose attached to me, I saw that I was interested in seeing people build what they have from little to, or from nothing to something. I was interested in that. I was interested in storytelling. I was interested in inspiring people and letting people know that there's more about them, So that's where it just came to me that okay, my life is for a purpose. And the reason why I was in that place and I was feeling dissatisfied was because I was not in my place of assignment. I was not fulfilling purpose, as I would call it, So I then started realizing that okay, there was more. In fact, when Purpose Room came to my mind, because Purpose Room, like I said, is the ministry I run now. When it came to my mind back then, I thought it was a label. So I still have a couple of raps I did and songs I did back then, talking about Purpose Room, but now with time, I now understand that Purpose Room is bigger than just a label. It's meant to help not just rappers, but it's meant to help every individual who wants to grow in purpose find their purpose. And
Right.
how best, right, to find your purpose than to find it in the one who created you, right? I like to ask this question: who planted the first seed on earth? Who had sex with the first woman to give birth to the first man, right? Who 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 bought the first car? Who created the first car? When you think about all these things, you clearly see that there was something bigger than man that existed before existence. I don't know if it makes any sense, right?
It does.
Because if someone planted the first seed, then the seed will grow. If someone had sex, they will understand. But who had sex with the first ever person on earth, right? For the first person to then give birth. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So clearly, it means that there was a creation. There was a creation that didn't come through reproduction. So I started understanding that life is bigger than what we see. Life is bigger than what we see, and there is a God, right? A man definitely can create the sun, right? In fact, everything that we're doing right now, technology and all that, is just to replicate the abundance that God has already put on earth,
Right.
right? It's just to replicate it, So I started understanding all that, and I saw that purpose really means the original intent of the creator, meaning that every single individual, myself, yourself, and everyone listening to this, there was an original intent for your creation. So God did not create you to just exist and do the 9 to 5, come back home tired, sleep, wake up in the morning again. No, He created you to do something that will help another person. So we are all on this earth to benefit from one another. And if you feel like your work or what you're doing is taking so much from you and you're not giving back, then it's not the right place you're meant to be. So I
Right.
started understanding all these things, and I was like, wow, it is really deeper than just music. Purpose Room is really deeper than just music. I want that kid to come and tell me that, oh, he believes that he can be a lawyer, right? And then we help him understand what it is to be a lawyer from the purpose mindset.
Mhm.
So that's really largely what happened. And I started growing more and more. Then I went into studying more about the Word of God. And then beautifully. Along the way, um, I got advice that I should be a part of. Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, let's turn the mute off. You muted.
Okay, I was having some noise here, so I just had to mute for a bit, just
Okay.
so it doesn't. But you
All
can hear me,
right.
right?
Yeah. So let's
Yeah.
pick you back up.
So yeah. So what then happened was I along the way I started working for my pastor as his brand manager, right? And for some reason I just had and remember, sorry, while I was an artist, I was studying a lot about social media, learning how to put myself out there, right? So I was learning all these things, trying to put all these things together. And along the way, my pastor needed that skill that I developed from my own personal time studying, and I started putting it out there, and everything just started making sense. We had numbers rising from like 65,000 to 1.1 million followers, from 65,000 subscribers on YouTube to 500 and something right now. So the numbers just started increasing, and everything just started adding up. And I saw that when you're in the right place where God wants you to be, it's going to be abundance that's going to happen to you. When you're in the place God has called you to be, there's manifestation going to happen to you. When you're in that place, everything just begins to work. Now, it doesn't mean you won't do the work, but it would just going to be some ease to it. You're not going to be struggling and stretching through life every day. There'll be some ease to it. You'll be a hard worker, you'll be a smart worker, but there'll just be some level of ease, and there'll be a knowing inside of you that you're like, okay, this is where I'm meant to be. You won't be conflicted when you wake up in the morning. You will know that, okay, this is where I'm meant to be, and it's a journey. It's a process to where God is taking me to. It's a process to that place, right? So, my leader offered and said, you know what, Gideon, there's this Del York coming up, and we would like you to go there. And as you all know, my relationship with God was so tight. And I then said, you know what? Give me some minutes. I want to talk to God about this. So I took a walk to pray because I believe strongly that God speaks to us. Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe strongly that God speaks to us. And that's what intimacy is. Remember, Purpose Room is we help you find your purpose through intimacy with God. So I believe strongly that God speaks to us. And if He speaks to us, we would then know everything we're meant to do at the right time. So I went on a walk and I was talking to God and asking God, God, what is your vision for me about Del York? Should I go for Del York? I was praying. And then I heard in my ear Romans 8:28. And Romans 8:28 says, all things work together for those who are called unto His purpose, for those who love Him and for those who are called unto His purpose. And in that moment, I knew that God is telling me that all things work together and this is part of His plan. So I should not resist it. I shouldn't fight it. I should just go. So when I came to Del York, I knew that there was just going to be something special about it. I didn't know what, but I knew there was going to be something special. So the first day at Del York, I was like really optimistic to see what was going to happen. And then they introduced us to our lecturers, and I met you and I met Lichi, you know, and you guys just had so much fire, so much abundance mentality. There were so many things you guys taught us in the first day that I was so like, I mean, I went home talking about it. I was telling everybody abundance alert, manifestation. And there was something I remember you said on the first day. You said we should not apologize, right? So nobody ever says the word RRY. The reason why I'm spelling it now is because I can't say it too. Because because we don't believe that exists. We believe that we are abundance. Now, this doesn't mean that we don't apologize when we make mistakes, but I'm
Right.
saying that we always come with confidence. We always come with the understanding that we have so much wealth inside of us to give, right? So every action we take and everything we do is in purpose or on purpose, right?
Right.
So I learned that from you, and then for some reason you came to teach us what was written down in Del York was public relation, right? And when you came, for some reason, you went deep into personal branding, or you went deep into branding, and you also went deep into helping us find our uniqueness,
Right.
right? And that was so amazing because in my mind, I was like, okay, you came here to teach PR. That was what the major thing, which was meant to be all professional. And you guys meant to tell us how, we can be great PR strategies and all that. But you started off first with us building our uniqueness. So we started up with us building our confidence in who we are. And I found out so amazing because I was at this crossroad where I felt like, okay, I'm serving. Is there any other thing I can do in my life? Is there more I can give? Or am I just going to, be here all through my life? That was the questions I was asking myself back then. And when you came and you were telling us you have a lot inside of you, you can be everything that you were destined to be. And I was like, okay, this is real. And I still have my notes to you now. It's somewhere around. I can literally bring it up. I
I
have my
love
notes
that,
around. Literally to today, I take that note everywhere I go. Even
man.
when I have sessions with my clients, I take that note everywhere I go. That's how valuable it is. You taught me how to calculate cost for a product. There's so many things. And you were just telling us that we could do it, we could be this, and then you then ventured into talking about PR, and it was so amazing. And I then started understanding what God meant by all things work together, because God was trying to bring me out of this place of no abundance. Because I would say I didn't believe a lot in what was possible. I didn't believe that I could be everything that I wanted to be. I was in that season of my life, I was questioning and asking so many, had so many questions. I was saying, is it possible that I can do this? Is it possible that I can even make enough money? Is it possible that I can, touch a lot of souls? And then you guys came and you were telling me, answering my exact questions in that time. So it was not just Del York to me. Shout out to Del York, but it was not just about coming to learn about PR. It was coming for a life shift, for transformation. That's what it was to me. I can't tell what it was to all my
That's
classmates, but
all,
that's what it was to me. And that's why
man.
every time I came to the classes, you would see that I was paying attention. I don't think you can remember any day that I was not paying attention. Every single day I was paying attention. I was interested. It came on my notes. I was happy about it, because there was something happening on the inside of me. And that's why when I wrote my book, I had to put it down there that shout out to you guys.
Thank you
You
so
guys are
much.
not just came to teach me at Del York, you're like my life coaches. And I will always stay connected. I will reach out. Even when you're too busy, I'm going to send a DM. I'm,
Please
I'm
do.
going to reach
Yeah.
out. So yeah, Del York did a lot for me, and I was so happy to meet you. And then I came out of Del York with so much understanding of what I wanted to do. I knew that I could do it. I knew that I could, bless people, right, with the gifts that I have, and at the same time charge the people who are meant to charge, right, with the skill that I had. So these were things that I learned from you, and the rest is history from there. I have my company, I have a book out, I have my course out, so this is so amazing, and I'm entering this state of abundance. And I want to say something. I also learned that whenever you're faced with challenges in life, whenever you're going through a tough time, don't choose the negative. Always choose the positive. Have an abundance mentality about it. Always feel like there's so many solutions that can come out of this problem, right? See yourself as a solution every time you're faced with troubles, right? That's something I learned from you, and I pass that down to everyone. In fact, I call it unlocking creativity, right? And I tell my people when I'm teaching them that if you want to unlock creativity, you must have an abundance mentality. You can't have a scarcity mentality. People who have scarcity mentality never change the world, so that's something I learned, I hope this story
Hey,
really counts.
hey, man, you just really, really, really uplifted and empowered my heart, man, and my mind as well. Thank you so much, because what you just said lets me know that my purpose is fulfilled, and the intention with which I went to Lagos, Nigeria, was to leave just that impact with each and every one of you. So I'm glad that you were able to receive that level of value, and now you're transforming
Yeah,
it into so many levels and layers of value. Lichi and I are so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for you. But too, man, I'm
yeah,
impressed with you. I'm impressed with your ability to see all that was there, because everybody that was in that class didn't take the same level of value as you did, and that's a choice. You
no, no,
chose to. You
yeah,
choose to. You're the type of person that chooses to create value out of situations, and you choose to take control and charge of your own life. And I think that's one of the things that also makes you such a great leader. I'm very impressed with your creativity, what you've done with the purpose room, and also how consistent you are with creating content. And I think that's actually one of the most valuable things is once you do understand your purpose and you know your why and you know who you're for and who you're speaking to, can you do it consistently? And that requires a lot of courage, not just a strategy and a
Yeah.
plan, but being courageous to turn on the
Yeah.
phone, press record, and then post it. That is like,
Mm.
it's simple, but not easy. And you do that very
Yeah.
well and consistently. And then your content is great, it's powerful, it's impactful, it's transformative. So I'm very grateful for you. And you're somebody that I look to as an example of consistency and creating great content. So just to know that we're pouring into and impacting each other with information and inspiration in a positive way and keeping the flow of abundance in an infinite rotation. uh,
Yeah.
that's awesome, man. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm very grateful for you as well.
My pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Straight up. So let's dive into a couple things. First, let's talk about Beginner's Guide to Personal Branding, the new book.
Yay!
This is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations on authoring and publishing your first book, A Beginner's Guide to Personal Branding. I'll make sure we put the links to that in the description so everybody can get that. And also make sure you
Yeah.
follow Gideon on all his channels. But Gideon, tell us about the book. Just kind of introduce us to what it is and why'd you decide to write it and publish the book right now?
Okay. Beginner's Guide to Personal Branding. Thank you so much again. I might just keep on saying thank you throughout the.
It's a
But
lot of
yeah,
gratitude.
beginners.
We both got a lot of
Yeah.
gratitude, man. I love it. Let's keep it flowing. People
Yeah.
want to learn something from this expression of gratitude. It's actually
Yeah.
a success key. Just say thank you as much as you can
Yeah.
all day to yourself and others and
Yeah.
praise God for everything. And you have more abundance.
Yeah.
It's an abundance alert. That's just how it goes.
Yes.
But yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it, man. Let it flow. Thank you.
Yeah. It's my pleasure. So, Beginner's Guide to Personal Branding. I I I I was at this space where I realized that, remember, everything was going well in my working place because I was in the right place, the place I was meant to be, so I was able to push and foster progress and growth in the things that I was handling, the social media accounts, the content creation for my organization, and the people who were reaching out to. The numbers were going crazy. It's still going crazy till now, and I was in this place where I realized that we are currently in the season in in the world and in our generation where people don't just want to hear, they want to see, right? Show and tell. They want to see. They don't just want to hear, or they don't want to hear an audio alone. They want to see. So see why our podcast right now, we're looking at each other and we're going to put it out there as a video. Not saying that audio isn't good enough, but now the whole experience or the full experience come from being able to visualize what you're hearing, So, and I see that a lot of people want to be a blessing to their world. They want their businesses to grow. They have something to say, but they don't even know where to start from. Right? I saw that was largely an issue. So when I meet people, they'll tell me, "Oh wow, what you're doing is so good," and I'm like, "Right, okay, great. What I'm doing is good, but you can also do it too. It's not just about me. Like the fact that I'm here is not just for me to like be at that in that like on that pedestal and everyone is looking up and no one can come there. No, I want people to come up too. I want people to see that they also have a message to share outside, So that was what inspired me. I was like, you know what, I should do something easy for people to understand, right? It will have some of the professional language, but still try to make it understandable to the layman. So that was where my mind was at. So I was like, how can I do this for these people? And that's where Beginner's Guide to Personal Branding started from. I was like, you know what, I'm going to talk to these people about, first of all, finding their uniqueness and then understanding how to take advantage of the tools online to put their uniqueness out there. And that's where it all started from. And I went on to write this 6-chapter book. I'll just call the chapters out. So the first chapter is "It's Not What You Think It Is." It's not what you think it is. So this was me debunking all the ideas about personal brand and how people think it's something tough. Content creation is tough. I just debunked all that. And then I said it starts with you. And we all know that if you want change in your life, change starts with you. Things don't change till you get up and You know the rest. You know the rest
Right.
of that statement. Yeah.
Right.
So it starts with you. If you want change in the world, it starts with you. If you want the world to be cleaner, it starts with you. Do you throw dirt outside? If you want the world to have more love, it starts with you. Can you show love to the next person? Right? If you want the next generation to be inspiring and understanding, can you teach your children how to be loving? Can you teach your children how to stop playing on their phones and come outside and play in the field and then talk to other kids? Right? It starts with you. Whatever change you want in this world starts with you. You know, and that's what that chapter really is about. So it starts with you developing yourself, your skills before you even put it out. So there's a development stage before a delivery stage, you know. And then chapter 3 is it continues with them, right? So it's after you finish working on yourself, then it's now about the people, because the idea of having gifts is not for you to use it for yourself. If your gift is still benefiting just you, then you're living in a selfish state and a state of no abundance. But when you're able to deploy your gifts outside for people to be blessed, then that's when you're living in abundance. So that's that. And then I spoke about the formula, and this is us taking advantage of the tools in the world, where we spoke about platforms, the best platforms to use if you're someone who likes to write, the best platforms to use if you're someone who likes to speak and look into the camera. You know, we spoke about that. And then we spoke about the future, being able to merge your lifestyle, right, with your personal brand, your lifestyle with the content you're creating, your lifestyle with your business. Because largely some people can't stay consistent because they've not been able to merge their lifestyle, you know, with the work of being a personal brand, right? So yeah. And then the last one was a brand development framework, just basically asking real questions like, what's your why? You know, how do you want to achieve your why? And what's the result of your why? You know, and then asking questions like, what's your value proposition? So what stands out for you? What do you really want to put out there? You know, so these questions were just kind of like a written counseling session between my words and you, and it helps you just begin to think about, okay, what do I really want from this thing I want to build? So if you want to be a comedian, instead of you just going out there and just cracking jokes, right, what kind of comedian do you want to be? Because there's always purpose attached to everything. When there's purpose attached to everything, then you can stay consistent in your messaging, right? And then you won't tip off. So you won't see a comedian who is cracking jokes that's funny, but then taking advantage of people and insulting people, right? Because I see now that there are a lot of comedians who try to like insult people so people can laugh. I don't think it's fun bringing a person down so you can go up, right? But
That's not
imagine
true
if you went
comedic
through this whole,
skill.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
So imagine you went through the whole training of what it means to really have brand values and all that, then it'll be easy for you to understand that you can stick to this. So basically, chapter 6 is talking about structure. And I understand that people run away from structure because they feel structure is so hard. No, structure maintains culture, right? So if you can have structure to your brand, then the culture of your brand will be preserved over time. So even when you're old and you're no longer working, right, the culture that you've maintained through the structure will remain. And anyone who walks into your ministry, walks into your business, walks into your organization, will understand the things that helped you build what you've currently built. You know, so this is really what the book is about, you know, and I really hope it's interesting for everyone.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love that. And it's like you brought it full circle too. You start at the core. You talk about just kind of clarifying, just starting with a clean slate of this is how you basically build your personal brand up from the ground up with a solid foundation, and also have it aligned with your vision of who you
Yeah.
want to be and how you want the world to receive your art or your business, your product or service, your message. I think that's so important, and really just breaking it down into simplicity, because when people hear personal branding and this idea of public relations and PR and social media, some of it can be overwhelming for people. And sometimes
Yeah. Very-
folks don't understand that it can actually be simplified, and it
Yeah.
can be something that I make a part of my life and actually integrate into my daily life,
Yeah.
into my purpose, as you mentioned. So that's great, man. I'm so grateful that you published that. And you gave a shout out to me and Lychee in the book, in the acknowledgement. So thank you so much for that. I really acknowledge you for that. And the book
You,
is
you deserve way
wonderfully
more.
written. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Seriously, like, we I committed my life to making art for the purpose of uplifting other people. And that comes in many forms of expression, but I'm very grateful and I praise God for the ability to be a teacher and a speaker and somebody that can use my voice to impart value upon others. And when people let me know that that's received, I know I'm living in purpose, on purpose. And when I see that it produces fruit, and you go out and now you're producing more fruit and producing more abundance for others, it's like, wow, that's really why we do it. And that actually refuels and re-inspires me to be more in purpose, more on purpose, and do my purpose more abundantly so that the world can be uplifted.
Yeah,
And I'm grateful, man. So thank you and shout out to you for just keeping the flow of good energy and
yeah,
education going. Because it all starts really with like awareness and then education. It's like
yeah,
once the awareness is there, all right, somebody just teach me how this thing works. Break this down into some simple steps, which you've done with the
yeah,
beginner's guide to personal branding. So uh, again, I'm going to put the link to Gideon's book as well as all his socials in the chat. I want to make sure y'all grab a couple copies of that, share it with your friends and family, send it around, and take notes and learn and build and just look at how you can apply it to what you're doing and take everything to the next level so that you can have more fulfillment in your life and also create
yeah,
sustainable flow, right? Because I think the personal branding, a piece of it is about creating sustainability, which is another thing that we talked about. But it's like
yes,
if I can clearly identify what I have to give and offer to the world, and then I can clearly identify the people that are seeking that value and are willing to exchange
yeah,
the energy for that value, whether that's time, whether that's money, whatever the energy exchange is, well, we can create a sustainable flow where they're getting what they need and I'm getting what I need, and we're both doing what we love. And that's what life's all about,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's really what it's all about. What it's all about.
It's great.
I wanted to
So
ask a question. I don't know
please,
if I'm
yeah.
allowed to ask a question, but I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
How are you so creative?
Oh man, I am made in the image of the creator. Let me say that. Praise God. That's how. I literally just believe that this is what I was born to do and that my gift is creativity. Therefore,
Mm,
if I believe that I'm supposed to create and I know that I can create anything and I can be, do, and have anything and everything that I want, then I have to move forward and express that creative ability. I have to reproduce or transmute that energy. I have to, I don't necessarily have a choice once I understand that this is why God put me here is to be an expression of his creative ability. Uh,
yeah,
just as you said, we'll go back to the moment of clarity and just realizing that God is real and that I have a purpose. Um, I've always believed in God and grew up in the church and understood spirituality, have seen people speaking in tongues and impacted positively by the Holy Spirit at a very young age. So I always had that
mm,
awareness. But my own personal understanding of my purpose, it actually came through having played football growing up and into college, was a Division I athlete and won an NCAA different awards in the NCAA's and ACC championship and things like that as an NCAA football player. That
yeah,
was kind of my identity for so long, right? But once that ended, through injuries and just situations and circumstances that I felt out of control of or out of my control, I was really forced to seek purpose and identity in something else other than a sport or my team affiliation. And that caused me to really look at what I had been doing my whole life. I have been making art. I've been creating. I have been building things, taking things apart, being an engineer, understanding how things work. And also, also always been a leader and somebody who is giving back any information I have that might be able to help somebody who's just trying to get to the next level. Any energy I have that I can share that can uplift somebody. I've always kind of wanted to do that and been excited about doing that and being that for other people, leader. So I had to realize, looking at the things that I've done in the past, the things that I'm best at, the things that I love, looking at my ikigai, what is my why? What does it
Yeah.
mean? What am I good at? Um, that actually brought me to the point of saying, I'm, my ikigai is actually me being a creator and using my creativity to positively impact people, whether that's through a song that makes them feel good, through a painting or a piece of clothing that makes them feel special, or through education and sharing my words and using my voice to create courses and books and things like that that can inform and inspire people and also give them a clear path to living a better life if that's what they're seeking. Because also, you're only going to change once you decide you want to change. And that's another thing. I had to decide that I wanted purpose in my life. And I decided that the jobs and things that I was doing were not for me. They may be great for someone else, but what I needed to do was in another place. And I found that in art, as an artist. That was where I found it. And that's where I've always taken joy and peace and had a lot of confidence in the area of creativity. So I just feel God put me here to use that ability. I make songs, and my songs have impacted thousands of people. And every song I make, I say I wanted to make people feel good. I just wanted to have some kind of positive impact, not a negative impact. That's just a commitment that I made uh, for the music, right? For the paintings, I want my paintings to be something that can inspire imagination, right? I want my words to be something that fuels inspiration and empowerment and helps people to feel unlimited and builds confidence. And with all of these different tools, I believe somebody can reach self actualization and higher levels of enlightenment, which is part of our God given mission as well. So that's really like why I decided that art is my way. Art is my passion, my purpose. Art is my why. And this book is an art book,
Yeah.
by the way. This is
Yes, it is.
an art book. There's activities, there's guides, but there's also art in it. There's things that, again, will spark your imagination, will get you seeing things from a different perspective, abstract paintings, things like that.
Perspective.
So yeah, make sure y'all check out
Yeah.
What Is My Why, how you can use Ikigai to clarify your purpose. This is on
Yeah.
bijannature.com/shop, as well as Amazon, Barnes and Noble, everywhere books are sold. Get you a copy of that and be on your purpose. Make sure that the folks in the purpose room get a copy of What Is My Why. And I also know that you have a
Yeah.
book about why that you've written that's coming out as well. I was thinking
Yeah.
we may need to get together and do some kind of course or convention or like a live event about purpose and helping people just
Yeah.
clarify their why and be more in purpose on purpose. We need to do some live seminars or
Yeah.
something, and some virtual workshops, get some stuff cooked up together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that would be so powerful and impactful. Definitely gonna look that like once we're done with this meeting, I'm gonna start writing things about that just so that the ideas become alive. And then I'm
Right.
gonna reach out to you and we collaborate. I think it's gonna help a lot of people.
We can cook it up. I
And
believe
maybe someday
between
we'll probably do a physical one.
absolutely. I'm sure that we'll probably
Yeah.
co-author some things together as well. But like, if we
Yeah.
even, were to maybe talk to Dale York, maybe they want to get with us and we can create some kind of live event that can be live streamed, but just something really big where people come to this event and they leave absolutely transformed with a very clear plan and vision of the ideal dream life and living life in purpose on purpose, because
Mm.
there's multiple things that go into creating and designing a life of purpose and fulfillment, and that what we would call the dream life. Part of that is trust and faith, and another part of it is planning and intention
Oh,
and consistency and taking the right simple small steps long enough consistently. That's how success is created, as well as all the things that are out of our control, and God finding favor and things lining up and us meeting the right people. But we can actively play a role to increase the likelihood of these things happening in our favor, if we know the right tools and the right steps. And if we're doing things for the
yeah.
right reasons. So we can continue to create things that give people this knowledge, inspiration, and information, both in person and online, the purpose way, you know,
Mm, that's powerful. That's
vibes.
powerful.
It's up.
That's powerful.
All right. So, so Gideon, how are things in Lagos right now? And how do you feel like just the adoption of the concept of personal branding is in Legos? So do you think there's more of a need? Do you think there are opportunities to do more in the space of personal branding and marketing, specifically in Nigeria right now?
Well, hard things in Lagos first off. Lagos is same old, busy, bustling, hustling, for the people who hustle, you know. But yeah, it's really busy. It's hot too. It's very hot. The weather is very hot here, but and definitely another thing that has happened and which is happening, affecting the whole country right now is the the stock exchange and the cost of living. All those things are really hiking up seriously because of our economy. Our economy in Nigeria is not necessarily thriving. It can be better, but it's not thriving right now. So a lot of people are complaining about all these things. But answering the next question you ask, I always feel, and remember, it started off from understanding the abundance mentality. I always feel that even in a space of scarcity, there is life. In the space of scarcity, there's abundance. So I always feel that even when there's so much farming in the land, and when it feels like it's hard to make money, there are a lot of people willing to give money, right, to solve their problems. So in the branding space and personal branding space, I see that because of how some jobs are not even really lucrative, people are now going into themselves to find out, oh, do I have a gift, a skill that I can start deploying online? So you see there's a large increase in skit makers in Nigeria. Skit making, such a large industry. A lot of people are online creating jokes, funny, acting short drama, set, and uploading it 1 minute, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, then putting the long form videos on YouTube. So a lot of these people are doing these things, and a lot of people are still trying to enter that industry. And beyond that, even people are trying to be influencers. So they're out there, they're like working 9 to 5, and they're like, you know what? I dress well. I have a 9 to 5, great, but I dress very well. I have good circle of friends. Maybe I should start influencing, and hopefully I'll start, connecting with other brands and connecting with bigger people, and they just start their influencing journey. So I'm listing all the industries that people are stepping into amidst the bad economy, right? So people are stepping into these things, and then people are out there saying, you know what, there's no money right now in Nigeria, but it seems like there's a lot of demand for this particular service. There's a lot of demand for food, for example, right? People are demanding food, but maybe at a cheaper rate, bulk food, but at a retail price, right? So, okay, let me start my business because I can cook. And all these things are happening. So people are becoming more industrious because there's famine in the land or because there's an economy issue. So you see, all these things I've listed are clear signs to show that if you're a personal brand manager or if you want to grow your personal brand, this is the right time, even though it seems like things are tough. So for example, if I wanted to be a personal brand manager, or if I had not started my career, I could just look into what it means and what it takes to put someone out there, study it well, and then reach out to one of these guys I listed who's trying to start influencing, trying to create skits or trying to sell their business, right? And tell them, oh, yo, I can help you do this and do that. So even in the midst of the economy, right, being a brand manager or pushing your personal brand is really, really interesting, or is really, really helpful. In fact, right now, because of the amount of worry, because when there's economy issues, worry and anxiety also increases, right? So because people are anxious for life, right, it keeps them on their phone. because the phone is like a distraction from you or for you, right? So it keeps them on their phone and they're steady on their phone scrolling, trying to, just make themselves happy. So it means that there's so much attention right now on the online space or in the online space. So you literally can I've made it clear to you or to everyone listening, not you, I've made it clear to everyone listening that there's so much attention going right now into the phone. So it means that this is the right time to hop on it. This is the right time to think about what you have inside of you, how you can fine tune it and put it out there. If you want to make people laugh, you can put it out there. If you want to sell something, you can put it out there. If you want to help people, you can put it out there. This is the right time, despite the fact that the economy is crazy. So I feel like it's a very fertile ground right now. I feel Lagos is very fertile. There's a lot of opportunities there. I feel like all the people running away is great. That's people leaving the country is great, but I still feel like there's a lot of opportunities right now in Nigeria. A lot of rich people, billionaires who are out there willing to pay a lot of money for their services. You just need to find it. So yeah, I feel it's great. It's great.
I love that. And something that we talked about is understanding just the value of good videos and the value of good storytelling and good copywriting to any business or entrepreneur. Marketing is the lifeblood of any business, as well
Mm,
as being able to communicate well with current customers. But letting
yeah,
people know about what we do and what we have to offer is the thing that's going to keep people coming to get services and keep things sustainable. So any business will know that marketing and video making and editing is a major key. So just having that as a skill set, as a core skill set, is something that I talk to a lot of folks about because
yeah,
it's only getting bigger. Like more people being born, more people getting online, more people getting devices means there's going to be more people making money and there's going to be a
yeah.
higher need and demand for creative assets because there's more people watching on the phone,
Watching.
on the computer, and on YouTube. There's more consumers. There's always going to be more consumers than there are creators. So if you
Yeah,
want to always have something to offer and always be able to have some money, be a creator. Create something that people are consuming. One of the things that's always consumed on the phone, hours and hours a day by everyone, is videos, right? So
yeah,
consider that. Consider being a creator instead of just a consumer. We all have to consume something.
yes,
If you're listening to this, you're being a consumer, but you can also be taking notes and then you become a creator. You can also be planning out what you're going to do next. You can also be aligning this conversation with your purpose. You can also be sending this conversation to your 10 best friends and family members that you want to be uplifted and inspired. Now you're creating inspiration by sharing and
yeah,
sending a link. So always think about the abundance mentality and how things can become multiple things. How one good deed
yeah.
or one act or one piece of knowledge can become multiple and abundant pieces of knowledge.
Yeah, I love the fact that you said being a, not being a consumer but being a manufacturer. Being a creator. Basically, I feel like that's super important because when you're a creator, rather than just a consumer, it gives more opportunities to you. It makes you more powerful, right? Because it's you that people will watch and then you earn basically. So I think that is a very, very important thing. And I usually tell people around me, young people around me, I tell them, yo, stop consuming, stop eating everything you're seeing online. You go and let people eat what you have.
Right.
Put things out there. Let people also feed on what you have. So yeah, that's super important. Super important. That's the way to change the world.
It is. And a lot of people that aren't experienced with creating or being a content creator, they may think social media, being a creator is difficult, but it's not, especially when, as Gideon mentioned, you can integrate your lifestyle. So essentially just
Yeah,
show people what you're already doing or teach something you already know to somebody that maybe doesn't yet or that's interested. Um,
yeah,
if you have an interesting life, share that. If you have some specific knowledge, if you know how to knit, you know how to bake cakes, share that. But just do it consistently. And there's always going to be somebody that's looking to learn what you're having to offer because you're choosing to share, which a lot of people don't choose to share. A lot of people just
yeah,
consume, right? So
yeah,
just by becoming someone who's putting something out, you're giving to the world and creating opportunities for ad revenue to come to you, affiliate revenue from selling other people's products and services, or direct business revenue from selling your own products and services,
Yeah.
or all three, right? So consider that because when people want to watch you, you're always going to have attention, and attention is valuable these days. Knowing how to
Yeah.
pay attention, knowing how to get attention. But most of the attention is coming through a video. So if you can make videos, you have some power and leverage in terms of a skill set that can generate sustainable income and be a storytelling tool for you. So
Mm.
it's up.
Yeah. It's amazing, amazing conversation.
It's
This is so
up.
good. I wish we had people seated down, right here. Like a lot of people
They're,
sitting
they're
down
here. They're
listening.
here with us. The people are here with us.
Yeah.
So Gideon, let's
Yeah.
talk. Look, what is your favorite business book? I know some folks consider the Bible a business book, and that's probably both of our favorite book is the Bible. Highly recommend everybody get in that Bible daily. I use the Bible app on my phone. It's really dope.
You version?
Yeah, of course. It's U version.
Yeah.
That's the best. I think it's the industry standard at this point. But
Yeah.
what is one business book that you have learned from that has added value to your life that you can recommend to people go check out?
Um. mm, Think and Grow Rich. That's one. There's also another particular one. I'm really trying to remember the name now because right now I have so many books around me, and they are all pertaining to ministry right now. But yeah, there's a particular one I'm trying to remember right now. It largely spoke about learning how to build your assets, you know, and staying liability. I'm trying to even remember the author right now. It's literally one of my best books. Actually, I can't believe I'm forgetting the name right now. What's the name of that book? Let me see. Nah. I'm trying to remember the book.
Well,
Oh my,
let me know when it comes back. It'll come back to you and
yeah, it's gonna come soon.
just
It's gonna
like
come
say when
soon.
it comes back. But
Yeah,
Think and
I
Grow
have it.
Rich, man. That's a banger. That's one of my favorites too. And I think it's a
Yeah,
classic at this point when it comes to the entrepreneurship or the personal development space or just the manifestation or creativity space. I think it's kind of a hallmark in
yeah,
many categories. And it just talks about the thinking of creativity and creation and having a chief
yeah,
aim, having an intention. I highly recommend everybody read Think and Grow Rich, get the audio book. It's by Napoleon
yeah.
Hill. And
Yes.
it's a classic. Napoleon Hill is a really great author. He's written many great books, The Laws of Success and many others. Highly recommend everybody checking out Napoleon Hill. Great audio books on Audible as well. And then, of course, if anybody's interested in learning more about how to clarify your purpose, you can check out my book, What is My Why?
Yeah.
How you can use Ikigai to clarify your purpose. This is available everywhere.
Yeah.
And Gideon's new book, The Beginner's Guide to Personal Branding by Gideon Vese. That is also a must read for all of you listening. And that's going to level up your personal branding game, your content creation game, but more than that, it's going to level up your purpose game. It's going to level up
Yeah.
the way you approach life in purpose and on purpose. So make sure you check out Gideon's book, The Beginner's Guide to Personal Branding. We'll have that linked up for sure. So another thing
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Gideon, when it comes to just habits, what are some habits that you formed that you believe help you create success? That could be things you
Mm.
do, just for your personal, for your fitness, but also like you create content pretty consistently. How do you come up with ideas? How do you make that a habit? How do you continue to grow your social media following and connect and reach more people and grow your business so well? What are some of your habits?
Yeah. Just before I said, I remember the book now, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I
Ah,
love that.
Robert Kiyosaki,
Yeah.
Rich Dad Poor
Yeah.
Dad is another
Yeah.
classic.
I love that book. I love that book. I love that book. But yeah,
Classic.
to answer your question, attitude, habits, being diligent, right? Being able to bypass the emotion, right? The emotion of, oh, I want to rest. Oh, I want to sleep a little longer. Oh, I don't feel like doing this today. Oh, this, oh, that. All the emotions that come, right, that negate your vision. Because, first of all, the first thing I'll say is have a vision. So I have a vision for my life, right? I have a vision for what I want. So that usually is like the overarching, you know, thing I think about every morning. Once I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking about what's my mission for today, right? Because when you have a vision, then you can have a mission, because the mission is the daily things you do to achieve that vision, right? So I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking, what's my mission for today? And my mission, it aligns with my vision. That's what keeps me aligned. So diligence, being diligent um to bypass my emotion, because I think that's one of the greatest enemies of every individual. Their emotions, your emotions, even in a relationship, your emotions sometimes is what makes you not want to love a person. Even in your relationship with God, your emotion is what makes you not want to read your Bible. Even waking up to do fitness is how you feel. Footballers have to wake up every day to train, you know. So you have to go through the pain of working hard, right, to build and to grow in life. Basically, you have to just go through that pain, bypass the pain, and go through. So I think one of the things that I find myself doing easily is just bypassing that pain, bypassing the feeling of wanting to rest more, the feeling of, oh, maybe I should postpone this later, because I think one of the issues people face is procrastination, right? You procrastinating a lot. A lot of people procrastinate a lot. Are you here? Are you here? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people procrastinate a lot. I think that's one of the biggest issues, right? People have the skill, but they just procrastinate a lot. Maybe I should do this thing tomorrow. So one of the ways to do that, you know, is to make sure that you have the vision in front of you, right? Have your vision in front of you, what exactly you want, and then bypass the emotion. How do you bypass the emotion? By getting up. By getting up. Just get up. Literally, just get up. Just do what you can do right now. Right? Stop thinking about the big picture, because the big picture only makes sense when you take baby steps. You can't get to the big picture if you do not take baby steps. So I just know how to tell myself, okay, the loud voice in my head, I just know how to tell it, shut up and just get up. So that's one of them, being diligent. And this is one of the things that has helped me attain a lot, because there were a couple of I would say stumbling blocks in front of me when I started my job where I currently work at. Stumbling blocks stopping me from even getting some awards that we really wanted from our social media following. And I remember back then, every night I'll be up thinking, how can I crack this thing? How can I do this thing? Every night, that consistency. But what made me do that was the reward, the fulfillment, right, of fulfilling the vision, right? So I think people who struggle to get things done largely are focusing on the outcome and not the vision. When you focus on the vision, it kind of indirectly affects your hormones, because you now know that this thing is purposeful. We are created to fulfill purpose. So whenever we're not, in fact, even that rich artist out there who is literally just living large, not doing anything, not helping anybody, there's somewhere inside of them, there's a void inside of them that wants to be filled. They want to do more things. They want to reach out to people. It's always there. And that's why if you put that hunger for money out there, you would always want more money, and you look back and you see that you didn't build relationships. So there's something deeper than materialistic things, and that's purpose. So when you have your vision in front of you, it kind of pushes you to bypass the emotion. Is when we think about the results of where we're going to. So if I think about the fact that I want to write a book of 160 pages, I'll be like, how can I get there? I don't even know where to start from. But if I think about, oh, I need to tell the story of how I got to where I am so I can help other people, then it begins to make sense. And be like, okay, how did I get to where I am? And then you can easily remember that, okay, it all started from 1990 this or 2000 and this. And then you can begin to make those jots. Or you think about, okay, how can I really help people, with my story? You think about the chapters first, and then you write, okay, I want to write a chapter about when I was born, and then a chapter about this certain, so it begins to flesh out little by little when you're vision oriented, and there are a couple of things that are aligned in my daily activities that helps me stay with my vision. And the first one is my passion. So I make sure that everything I'm doing is aligned with the passion I have. Another thing that I really have around me is motivation. So I stay around things that motivate me. So largely, if I'm not creating content, I'm around content that motivates me. And the thing about motivation and inspiration is when you're largely around it, it begins to draw out the gems inside of you. So I don't, if I'm not creating, I'm consuming. But I'm choosing what I'm consuming, right? So I choose intentionally what I consume, and what I consume activates my mind to also create. It's just natural. It's just natural. For example, when I met you in Del York, I saw everything you were saying, and I won't lie, I consumed a chunk of you. Like that period that you came, I'm sure you left tired because I was really listening to you, and there's
We
something
left
I learned
filled
from you.
up. We left filled up, bro.
Yeah. 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 There's something I found out when I listened to you, right? I learned how to think on my feet. Because back then in class, you just ask people, okay, so what do you want to what kind of business do you want to have? And they'll say they want to open a catering industry, and you come up with like five names of their businesses on the spot, and I'm like, how is he able to do that? This is
Right.
magical, you know. And then what I started doing was when I spoke to my clients, I was testing myself, and I can do that now. I'm just able to think on my feet. So what I'm really trying to say is staying around people that inspire you will help you get on your feet too. So those are two things that I would just list as part of my habits. Staying diligent, that's bypassing my emotions. And the second one is being around the right circle. The right circle, which is what I listen to, who I talk to. Those things inspire me. If I'm always hearing people talk about purpose, right, I want to also talk about purpose from my own life's view, from the perspective of my life. So those are things that help me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great, man. That's what it's all about. You just clearly expressed, and thank you for that. You just clearly expressed the importance of sharing information and the importance of creating, right? Because when you create something, when we create, it
Yeah.
impacts more than just us. It impacts more than the creator. And it's like, that's why God loves us so much, because we go out, we are God's creations, and we go out and continue to create more. And that just continues
Yeah.
to create more abundance. That's why the sun keeps shining, the wind keeps blowing, the water keeps flowing, and life keeps going. And
Yeah.
you know, we
That's
might
a rhyme
we
there.
might have to turn that into a
What's that?
song.
Rain seeds stand. It's long.
We might have to write a new song, Gideon. Me and Gideon got a song that we recorded too that's going to be coming out at the appropriate time. Excited to share that with
Yeah.
them. But one song might have to become one EP, a collection of songs
Mm,
that we release
yeah.
in conjunction with our co-authored publication and course and seminar, or something like that,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. I love it. Well, yeah, man, I want to know, what else do you want to talk about? This is Abundance Universe. This is us talking about all things inspiration, aspiration. We went deep on purpose, and I want to know, what else is it that you want to share, or anything that we didn't cover, or things you want to make sure the people really really get, or do you have any other questions for me? Anything that we can just talk about while we're here just vibing?
Yeah. I would like to ask you, because I heard you say that you were once into football, right? So I know that in that moment, that was really like a drive for you and something that you really loved. So seeing that injuries and maybe different circumstances made you not play anymore, I'm sure that you were heartbroken and there were some emotions from it. So how were you able to bypass something that looked like a hard time, a tough time, a disappointment, if I would call it? Right? How were you able to bypass that and pick it up and just say, you know what, I'm just gonna keep on going, and now look at where you are. So what did you do in that season of transition that helped you become this? Yeah, how were you able to do it? Because I know a lot of people are going through tough times right now and they don't know how to get out from there. So, yeah.
That's a great question. And something that really helped me a lot was listening to inspirational and powerful voices like yours. and listening to podcasts like this, Abundance Universe, listening to audiobooks like the Think and Grow Rich, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and just getting positive information from people who have created success who maybe weren't born successful or didn't come from success, because it showed me that we can overcome. Us as humans, we are capable of overcoming anything. And it also showed me that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And
Mm.
reading books and listening to other people's stories and positive inspiration, positive media, positive music. I also really, during that time got into electronic music and just like
Yeah.
music with no words, just vibes. And then eventually I started making that music myself, but listening to really uplifting crescendo music that's just beats. I'm a piano music and Afro beats music. Just
Yeah.
listen to stuff like that during that time really kind of fuel my purpose and help me to get up, get energized. Another thing is like when you're feeling down and sad, you got to get up and change your physiology. Like actually
Mm.
go outside and walk around. And that actually moves your energy. That creates
Mm.
energy in motion, which is emotion. So you can create a new
Mm.
emotion by moving your energy and changing your
Mm.
physiology. You can then
Mm.
start to feel differently from the inside out and express different feelings and different
Mm.
expressions. So once I understood that I could transform my feelings the way I was feeling physically with my mind, I knew how to like do PT and exercises to heal my body and feel better, and how to do training and electromagnetic stem pulses and different things like that. But what if I could just use my mind to feel better? That kind of revelation came in that time when I really had to rely on things other than my physical abilities, right? I had to rely on creating success with more than just my physical performance. Well, I have to take control of my mindset. I have to master my thoughts. I have to master myself. I have to really grasp my power and understand what the creator put within me and understand
Mm.
how can I use this to feel like I'm living in purpose on purpose. Well, I had to do a lifestyle redesign, but it came through that kind of acknowledgement and then filling my diet with empowering information. What I was watching, what I was reading, what I was listening to, it just went from all other things to all positive. There was a lot of different things, but I had to make a decision to say what I'm going to input is going to be all positive. Increase the prayer time, increase the journaling and writing, because you also learn a lot
Mm.
about yourself through writing. Just pick up a pen and
Yeah.
start writing. That'll tell you what's
All
going
right.
on in your mind. And also, you might
Yeah.
write out your next steps without even
Mm.
thinking about it if you just allow yourself the freedom to flow. So, those kind of things, more prayer, more journaling, more meditation. I got into yoga at that time, which is really great for just moving the body in a way that keeps us in flow and kind of refreshes the mind. So yoga is really great
Yeah.
at different breathing techniques. This really helped me get more control of my mental, because this is actually the biggest muscle in our body and the most important. It's the brain.
Yeah.
So, you know, that transformation caused me to really take charge of the mind, the mental, choose positivity, choose to see
Yeah.
everything as an opportunity that is setting me up for the next step. If I choose that this situation is actually a good thing and it's actually happening so that I can create a new opportunity, maybe I got to overcome a challenge in order to do that, but that's great because now I know how to overcome
Mm.
that particular challenge. And if it ever happens again, I can overcome it and I can help someone else overcome it more abundantly. So great.
Yeah.
I love it. You like it, I love it. That's how I look at everything
Yeah.
in life. And everything that comes is just setting me up for more wins.
Mm.
Even if things on the outside world may look dark and dull dramatic and just empty to other people, to me, I see
Yeah.
that as a cup waiting to be filled. Let's get some
Mm.
drinks, you know.
Yeah.
But that's the mindset that we have to approach each and every day with in order to be overcomers, to be great leaders. First, you got to lead yourself. And to lead
Mm.
yourself, you must take your mind to a place where maybe physically it's not at. Maybe your environment doesn't look like where you feel like you belong, or where you feel like your dream superstar version of yourself is supposed to exist. Well, hold that vision. Stick to that vision of where you're supposed to be, what your life's supposed to be like, who your friends are supposed to be, how you're supposed to feel. And these things and circumstances and situations will materialize and manifest into your existence if you can hold on to that vision and keep moving forward in the direction of that. Move in the direction of the highest and best version of yourself. Forget the past. Focus on the present while enjoying the journey of moving forward to my dream superstar version of myself. That is what allowed me to overcome and then realize my purpose is bigger than the game of football.
Mm.
My purpose is as a creative. I realized that even in football, I always created the mixtapes for the weight room. So I was always leading the energy. I also was the leader of stretches and would get the team hyped up before the game. So I'm the guy leading the whole team to get us ready to go into battle. I was always that guy for since I was a kid. I chose to be that person for the team, the captain of the team, the leader of the team, whatever that is. But that energy of providing the energy to increase the energy, that kind of mentality was always there. So I just said, let me find that outside of the sport of football. And through that, through creativity and art, that's kind of where I found that through speaking, through books, through making paintings, through designing my own kind of clothes. I make clothes for infinite beings and people that know who they are and want the best and highest quality and the most unique objects and items. That's what it is. That's an expression of my gift. And that's a choice to say, I'm going to use my athleticism in the game of art. I'm gonna use my athleticism to educate people. And now we partner with schools and institutions that are global and the most prestigious places like Del York partner with We Uplift the World Foundation to inspire and uplift. And here we are 2 years later, still talking about it. But yeah, making the
Yeah.
decision, man, just decide. Whoever you are out there that's listening, if you can just decide who you are, what you're going to create, and why. Those three things. Who am I? What do I want? And why? Ask yourself those three things as often as you can and write the answers down. But if you can just decide, the world around you will change because God has already
Mm-hmm.
given you the ability to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And if it's allowed to manifest, then it's part of the plan. Choose to use your actions, your thoughts, and your words to create more value for others, and it will be blessed. It will be manifest.
This is powerful. I really love your answer, because it's always on my mind. I'm always thinking about people like we already know, and I'm thinking about like what about people who are going through tough times, and you being able to articulate, how you're able to get out of there is so amazing. And I see that in champions, that's in great people, there are similarities. You know, first thing you said was your environment, the things you're listening to. That kind of was one of the things I even said to when you asked me about my habits. And even the books I've read about great people, the same thing. So it means that if you want to be a great person, and I'm speaking to people listening, right, you must inculcate this into your habit. Let this be part of your habit, right? Control your atmosphere. Don't let your atmosphere control you. In fact, there's something we say is don't be a thermometer, be a thermostat. Be the one to dictate, right, the temperature
Yeah.
of the room. Don't let the temperature of the room tell you what your temperature is. So yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much for answering that question.
Man, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, man. I got a question for you.
yeah.
What is your why?
What is my well, largely, which is a lot of people don't know this, but purpose room, yeah, purpose room is me. I don't know if that makes sense to you. So purpose room, that's the why of purpose room, right? Is exactly my why. That's who I am. You know, I believe that every single individual has a purpose. I believe that I have a purpose on earth. And if I find and if I grow in Christ, right? If my relationship with God grows, I will become everything that I'm meant to become, right? So my why is I have a belief, right? I have a belief that Jesus Christ, right, died for me and invested everything that he invested for me so that I can become everything that he has put inside of me on this earth, right? So that's what I believe. That's my belief. That's my belief. That's my strong belief. It seems like when I tell my friends, it seems like, oh, it's very basic, it's very simple, but it is everything that I am. This is why I wake up every day. Even when I make mistakes, when I slow down, this is what gets me back up, right? These are the things that get me back up. It gets me back up because I remember that this is why I exist. I exist to be um a mirror of Jesus to the world. I
Yes.
exist to be that hope to the hopeless. I exist to be that help to the helpless. That's why I exist. So if you go through my phone, you'll see a lot of text messages speaking to people who are far in different countries, far islands, talking to me and asking me questions, saying they're going through this and going through that. The reason why I do that is because I believe that I'm hope to the hopeless. I'm light in a dark world. Right. So, and it all comes from who Jesus is, so I'm just a mirror of him to the earth. Quite simple, quite popular, but yeah, that's it.
So
Yeah,
that's a big why, and that's a big
yeah,
purpose, and it's all about others, leaving an impact for other people, because we know that that's where the biggest impact can be had is through others, through other people being inspired to share. And I just want to thank you again for paying attention and deciding to utilize the energy and the information that was shared during our time together in Lagos with the Del York Creative Academy. And, thank you to everyone at Del York for facilitating that and allowing
yeah,
that kind of exchange to happen. Del York Creative Academy is a really special place and just such a prestigious institution, and just a class
yeah,
act of some of the classiest individuals and people working there who bring the top creatives together to continue the facilitation of creativity, inspiration, empowerment through storytelling and partnerships and collaboration. So much value and benefit. So I just want to just express the gratitude for Del York. And also, you've planted seeds, Del York, that have allowed more greatness to occur. And we're going out
yeah,
and doing things that are uplifting the world. A lot of this book is inspired by Gideon. Gideon and I talked about this book as well as his
yeah,
publications years ago. And now we're manifesting so many different things just because of the
yeah,
inspiration that was there. And we mentioned we have music coming out and just more things that is going to come forth because of positive people doing positive things and going out of their way to add value to uplift the world. So thank you to Del York. Thank you to Gideon Vese for being who you are, for being a man of God, for answering the call and standing on business at all times. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man.
yeah.
100% superhuman in my eyes. You're a superstar and a superhero. So shout out to
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And this was a blessing. This was a blessing. I hit you up and you just wanted to give me, like, you gave me this platform, and I really appreciate it because I understand how big a deal you are and how you're a blessing to a lot of people. So for you to decide to have someone like me on is such a privilege. So amazing. So amazing. I really, really, really appreciate that. And my love to Lychee, so amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, man.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you. And this is going to be a continuation of the greatness that we create and share with the world. Let all of our listeners and viewers be inspired, be uplifted, and be blessed. I want to thank you all for listening and tuning in. This has been Abundance Universe with Gideon and yours truly, Bijan Nation. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Tune into the Purpose Room. Make sure you're following Gideon. Make sure you're checking out his new book and courses. We'll put everything in the chat. Gideon, thank you one more time. Very grateful for you. Thank you so much. God bless you
Yeah.
all. Peace and blessings abundantly.
Yeah.